Good afternoon. Tom Ginn, G-Force. G is for gratitude. And gratitude, I believe, is one of the most powerful words that we can incorporate in our daily lives. Any circumstance, we approach it with gratitude. It negates negativity. It gives us new perspective. It gives us hope. So I'm G-Force. G is for gratitude. And today, I am super, super excited, nervous at the same time, even though I'm a coach, help people better understand how to get through fear and all that. But I am in that zone, having somebody that I've been recently introduced to through another colleague, introduced to Ken Walls. Ken Walls is an author. He's a coach and mentor. He's I would call a go-giver. He's an influencer. And today it's an honor to have Ken come on, and I'm part of his Grow Live Academy, and he'll talk a little bit about that. And if it wasn't for the introduction to Ken Walls, I wouldn't be here today. I have grown and shifted in many ways just because of his influence in the short time I've known him. So with that, I'm going to bring on a mentor coach, and I consider, as we grow here, a friend, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can lean into. So with that, Ken, I'm bringing you on. Welcome, Ken. Glad to have you on the program, G-Force.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Well,
thank you.
It is an honor. And with that, what I like to do today, Ken, is, you've got a tremendous story. And I would just like, to share a little bit about, your journey to where you are today. And I've got some questions I want to ask along the way as well. So it's all yours, my friend. It's all yours.
What do you just want me to share? What do you want me to share?
So a little bit about where you're from. Okay, where are you from?
Yeah.
You've been in business before, but you had a downslide and a crash in life, and you rebounded from that. And I think that story is important for people that the difficulties and things we have in life, we can come out of them. And that story I think is important to help people see where you're at. And then we can talk a little bit more specifically where you're at today and some of the people you're associated with and the people that influence you. So I hope that will give you a good starting point.
Well, I was born and raised in Northwest Ohio, a little town, little area called Indian Lake, Ohio. It's actually in the 50s or 60s. Some band wrote a song about it. There used to be a big amusement park. It was an area that in the summertime, all the, people owned cabins, and they would come there and bring their families and stay for the summer. And so we'd go out and meet all the new girls coming into town. And as a kid, and then in the winters, it was desolate, man. I mean, it was desolate, but so that's the area I grew up in. I lived in a house that had a lot of alcoholism and drug addiction issues, and I got really good at just staying out of the way and hiding and probably talking my way out of a butt kicking here and there. And at about 7 or 8 years old, I started seeing, the cool kids in school would wear all the name brand clothes and all of that. And I didn't have that because we were a poor family. And I remember thinking, well, I need to make my own money. If I make my own money, I can buy the cool clothes and all of that. And so I went out and I would pull a lawnmower in the summers. I'd pull this lawnmower behind my BMX bike, and I would, go door to door, and I would, sell lawn mowing services and weed trimming and, pulling weeds out of your flower bed or garden or whatever. I do whatever I had to do to make some money so I could afford to buy my own name brand clothes and fit in and all of that. And so by 11, I was working almost full time at an Italian restaurant and worked there for about 4 years. And then had various jobs as a teenager, McDonald's and, all of that stuff. But it was around the age of 16 or 17 that I realized that I hated school, and I especially hated biology. And so I just decided I wasn't going to go to biology anymore. Well, that came back to haunt me my senior year. They called me in and said, hey, dude, you didn't get a biology credit in 10th grade. And I'm like, yeah, that sucked. I hated that class. Yeah. And they're like, well, you have to have a credit in that to graduate. And I'm like, well, that's a dumb rule. Like I took trig and analytic geometry and calculus and, advanced algebra and all of that and aced all the math classes. Let's just bypass this so I can go on and maybe go to college and, give me that piece of paper that says I graduated. And they said, no, that's not the way it works. If you want it, you have to come back next year for a whole year and study biology. And I said, well, that is about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And so I walked out and never went back. And that was, I don't know, a few months before graduation. And then, so I didn't go to college. I ended up going to work at the Honda factory in Marysville, Ohio, building cars, and did that for about 2.5 years. Realized I hated working in a factory, even though, I was 18, 19, 20 years old, making back then 32 years ago. Back then I was making 40, 50 grand a year. That was a lot. That's 110,000 a year now, and so I was making unbelievable money, but I absolutely hated it. I felt like I was a prisoner. Like there were no windows in this place. It was, and I just said, somebody gave me some crap. I'd injured my back and was off work for about a month and went back. They put me on a terrible job, and I went to a cousin that actually helped me get hired at Honda, and he was a manager. And I said, this job's killing me. I can't do this. And he said, oh, quit your bitching and get back to work. If you ever want to be anything here and become management, you got to, quit whining, get back to work. And I said, that's stupid. I'm out of here. And I clocked out at lunch and never went back. And I got into sales and I realized that I had no idea what I was doing in sales. So I started studying Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy and all those guys. And, look, we've got Lynn and Robert and Mark on here, but
Yeah.
I started following all of those and really digging in and studying the sales principles. And then I became really, really good at sales. And somewhere in there, I realized that I could write my own ticket. I could write my own paycheck. Like all I had to do was go out and knock on doors or make cold calls or prospect and deliver and all of that. And I could literally write my own paycheck. So that's what I started doing. Then I got into my own business and built it into a multi-million-dollar company. And at 27 years old, it was insane what I was making and what I was doing. And then at around 30 years old, I lost everything, man. And ended up living all over. I've lived all over the U.S. I lived in Seattle. I've lived in Dallas. Dallas was only 2 weeks, and then I turned around and came back to Ohio. But I've lived all over the place, and I have, I literally did not realize why I was moving all over the country. I didn't realize what was actually going on. But at 34 years old, I came to the realization that I was a full-blown raging alcoholic. And I had spent many years at 12 years old, I was court ordered to go to AA. Like at 12, the first time I was arrested for kicking holes in drywall in an old abandoned building. And I thought we were just having fun, we were kids. And until the sheriff showed up and said, yeah, they're redoing that building. You were destroying property that they were trying to rebuild. And I was like, we didn't know, we had no idea. But anyway, so, I was court ordered to AA. I went to AA meetings. I went to Alateen. I went to Al-Anon. I went to all these things. And I was like, this is not for me. I don't have a problem. Well, at 34 years old, somebody sat down next to me on a bar stool, and this guy says, hey, and I had 2 Mercedes. I had the big house. I had another business. I had everything going on. From the outside looking in, it looked like I really had my shit together, and I didn't. And pardon my language, but I didn't have anything together. And this guy sits down and he says, hey, I put in my notice, and I'm ready to start working here in a couple of weeks for you. And I said, dude, what are you talking about? And he said, well, what do you mean? What am I talking about? You told me to put in my notice and that I could be your head technician at your company. And I said, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? He's like, yes, you did the other night in here. You don't remember? I'm like, dude, we didn't have that conversation. And he's like, I can't believe this, man. Like and he got really ticked off. And he says, everybody around here knows you're nothing but a worthless drunk. Why don't you go get some help? And I'm like, what? And he goes, go get some help. And he gets up and walks out, and he's pissed. And wow. I'm sitting there, and this is a high-end bar. I mean, it's a restaurant bar. I always went to the high-end places, and I was like looking. I remember he left, and I'm looking around like, did anybody else hear him say that? And it felt like some people did, and felt like there was this bright light on me all of a sudden. And I remember I had half a beer left. I had drank that night probably 7 or 8 beers. I had half a beer left, and the big tall draft beers. And I paid my tab, took one more sip out of that, paid my tab, and took off and went back to the hotel I was living in because my ex had thrown me out. And so I went back there, and this dude calls me on my cell phone. Dude, I'm coming to get you. I got a couple of girls with me. We're going to go have a good time. And normally I'd be like, all right, let's roll. But this night in particular, I was like, I can't. And I told, his name was Chip. I said, Chip, I can't do it anymore, man. I'm not. He's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you are. I'm coming to get you. Where are you? And I'm like, dude, I'm not telling you where I am. And I was at the Embassy Suites because that's how arrogant I was. I had to go spend $160 a night for a room because I was just that arrogant. But I said, no, I'm not going, dude. Have fun. I'll talk to you later. And I hung up, and I turned my cell phone off. And I laid on the bed, and I'd never in my life had I ever felt as lonely as I felt in that moment. Lonely, scared, and lost. I felt no hope, 100% hopeless. And I was at the point where I didn't want to live anymore, but I didn't want to die. I didn't know how to die. I didn't know, I didn't have the guts to do anything to myself. So I laid there, and I just started crying, man. I laid on that bed, and I remember just bawling my eyes out. And I remember I probably swore at God a couple of times. God and I have a weird relationship like that. I'm sure he laughs at me quite often. But I just said, look, I don't know how to make this stop. if you're real, I need your help because I can't do it. I cannot freaking do this. And I don't think I said freaking, but I said I can't freaking do this. And and I was a mess. And the next day I woke up and I remember distinctly saying, okay, God, I'm laying there going, just please help me stay sober today and figure this out. And the idea hit me to go to an AA meeting. Well, I was in the area where my company was, and I was the president. I drove a Mercedes. I thought I was all that and a bag of potato chips. And so I decided to drive like 30, 40 miles out of town to a meeting that I found. And I walk into this meeting and because I didn't want anybody to, I mean, you can't, that would be bad on the old mojo if anybody saw you walking into a church to an AA meeting. And so I walk in, I get a cup of coffee, I sit down right next to a freaking doctor I knew. And I go, what are you doing here? And he looked at me, he goes, I've been waiting on you to get here. And
wow,
meaning he knew I had a problem. And so, I started going in, I got into recovery that day, and I started really, man, I'll tell you, the best therapy in the world is going to an AA meeting. It's when you get into recovery, you have to, if you're going to stay sober, if you're going to stay alive, which is the same thing for an alcoholic or a drug addict. You better learn how to work on yourself. You better learn how to fess up to your sins. You better learn how to trust a higher power greater than you. You better learn how to develop a relationship. You better learn how to get the hell out of yourself and help other people. And dude, that's where it all began for me, man, is, in that moment, I have, it's laying here next to me somewhere. I have a coin right there. And
absolutely.
that is a recovery coin with 18 years. I have 18 years of recovery and sobriety. And as a result of that, my life is better. I was reborn on that day. And when I say I was reborn, I was like, you don't know what you don't know until you find out about it. And then you go, oh, I didn't know that. Right. Like I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know how sick I was. I felt sick, and my, the getting a couple of DUIs and all of that, like, that felt really abnormal. Like that felt highly unusual to be arrested for driving a motorized vehicle under the influence. It felt like that probably shouldn't be what I'm doing. But I have this disease called alcoholism, and to me, the only thing that my disease really wanted and still wants, I don't have a desire for it. But it was just another drink. Didn't even matter what, as long as it was going to take me out of reality, I'd drink it. Like,
Right.
So, yeah, so that started 18 years ago. That's yeah.
And I think, we all have journeys, I have a similar story in my life. I won't get, that's not, is that, sometimes we do hit rock bottom but who do we turn to? You turn to God, and he helped you in that process. So,
yeah.
And that reminder always there, because your addiction and my addictions that I've had in the past, you need that reminder. And I didn't get through my thing.
Are you holding a coin?
Not the same coin. It's a coin that was given to me by a friend that brought me to an awareness of who I was and what I was doing. He says, just hold this coin, remind you why you're doing what you're doing.
Yep.
It'll change your life. We need those affirmations.
We do.
We need people in our lives. We need to hear stories like yours, Ken. Because, many times people think they're the only one that has a story, and
Right.
no one's going to understand, and no one's going to accept it, and they're afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
And reach out. So I appreciate, me being a coach and working through my own issues through being coached.
Yeah.
It wasn't for those people coming in my life, and the reminder, I have no idea where I'd be. Probably not alive or in jail. One of the two. Okay.
Same here, dude. Same here.
And I appreciate your authenticity. And I think that's part of your greatness. I don't use that word lightly in greatness. So after you went through that struggle and you got the awakening, the awareness, and I know it's not easy because we have it, I know in my story, I was asked by one of our colleagues, JR here one night, says, did you ever have an inclination to go back to drugs? I said in the beginning, yes, until I found my vision, my purpose, that higher power that was who I was, didn't recognize it. And when I got to that point, no, I haven't had an inclination. I have this, it's totally shifted, but I keep my faith. I keep those things in front of me because I know if I don't have them, I will slip back. I think we're all can fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thanks so much for,
dude. No, it's just, look, Tom, I think that people anybody that I meet, whether it's Charles Coachman, Mark Gassert, Sandy Archer, Robert Brooker, whoever it is, Doug Wing, my brother from another mother. I love that dude. Anyone I meet, I immediately, there's something in me that looks for their greatness. I truly believe that every single one of us on this planet have this amazing greatness inside of them, like Lynn Serrano. There's this thing that's been eating at them probably their entire existence on this planet that they may or may not be pursuing, they may or may not be doing. And for me, I think, what can I say to help you wake up? What can I do to help you realize that there's this bigger calling, this giant calling for your life, that you're not just here to be a mediocre existence on this planet? And I love to see that light come on for people. I love to see people wake up. I love to see people go, oh yeah, geez, yeah. I mean, we all have that nagging. We have that thing that's nagging us going, I gotta do my thing. What is that thing? And so I think that I drank a lot, not just at the resentment of my childhood things, but I think I drank to hide my greatness, to stay small, like I was programmed to be. I was programmed to stay small. I was like most of us are. And,
exactly.
And so if I'm drinking and I'm anesthetizing that, I don't have to go, okay, I'm ready to be on stage now and accept my greatness and tell the world about their greatness. I don't have to do that if I stay just a sloppy drunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have to face that fear of telling the world that, hey, I found my greatness and I'm here to help you find yours.
And one of the things, your energy, your persona, it comes from the heart. It comes, and I think sometimes it's not the words we say, it's who we show up as.
Right.
It can make the influence in people's lives. And I think that's is equally as important as your story, is that you're showing up in an authentic way. And sometimes that's all somebody needs, is that hey, you had pain, I have pain, you got through it. And the question is how did you do it? And then that's where we can share. How did Tom Ginn get through his quagmire in life? Now, I've had success, I've fallen, I had lots of different traumas that I created myself.
Yep.
but then how can I help somebody else get out of the rut or out of the quagmire? So I think you're a great example of that. I hear you talk all the time in our groups, and we've got some pretty influential people that come to the groups.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to drop some names here, but one that really resonates with me, being a personal development coach and studying the self and how we think and how we form it, is Glenn Morshower. I think he says he for me, and I know for the group that's here today, he's a big influence, equally as much as you, because it's through you that opened that channel. So who are some other people? I know you mentioned a lot of people, Zig Ziglar, and you went down the list of people, but who was, besides your faith and that higher power who we pray to, who are some significant people that either somebody you read or somebody you reached out to that came into your life, really made I call it putting the mortar between the bricks type of experience? Who would that be?
Well, so there's a lot of people, and there are people that nobody's ever even look. Robert loves writing books as comments, but there are people that helped me that nobody even knows, and there's so many examples, but I'm going to give you one. I was a year and maybe 4 months sober. When I got sober, by the way, I ended up losing everything. I lost both Mercedes. I lost the house. I lost the girlfriend at the time, and I lost everything. And I was living at my sponsor. He invited me to stay with them, him and his family. And I was I ended up starting a website development company. I was freelancing for the longest time, then incorporated in 2007. But I remember getting my first apartment. I mean, dude, I was so messed up that my credit was so destroyed. I didn't think I could get a cell phone. Like I had nothing. And my sponsor's like, dude, you need to get a cell phone. I said, yeah, I know, but I can't. And he goes, why? And I go, because my credit. And he goes, oh. He goes, have you tried? And I go, no. What's the point? He's like, well, how do you know if you haven't even tried? And I go, because I know already. He's like, well, you know how you turned the drinking thing over to God? And I go, yeah. And he goes, is that working for you? And I go, of course. He goes, you think maybe God's got enough power to get you approved for a cell phone? I said, maybe. He goes, let's go. Jump in my car. Let's go. So we go over to the Sprint store, and they said, yeah, we'll approve you. You just need to do $100 deposit. And I'm like, that's it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, and I remember, look, man, I remember feeling like a multi-millionaire all of a sudden again. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like Steve Martin in The Jerk. Like, I'm somebody. I've got a cell phone. I'm in the phone book. And so I remember, like, that was a tiny little thing, and it may seem so insignificant to some people, but when you have literally lost everything and you feel like you can't finance a bologna sandwich and you can't even get a freaking cell phone, and I go in and they approve me, I was like, really? And so, so God started showing me in incremental fashion. He started showing me how powerful he is and how much he loves me and how much he can change my life and impact my life if I just surrender to all the bullshit and allow him to, and pardon my language, I'm probably
you're good, Ken.
Yeah.
That's, I think that's the emotional appeal coming through, and it is what it is. It is BS.
What? So I finally surrendered, but so a year and 4 months into this deal, I had my own apartment. I was trying to date, and I was messed up. So of course I'm attracting crazy women into my life, and as messed up as that's what's funny, man. When you take one messed up human being and you put them with another, even though they attract each other, it's like all of a sudden this really codependent, screwed up relationship where you're trying to fix your relationship by being together. You're trying to fix each other by having this relationship, and it just doesn't work. So I dated this girl that was a model for a while, and it was crazy, and we ended it. And I remember this moment in my 1-bedroom apartment. I was a mess, and I laid on the floor. She had ended it with me because I was so codependent, and I was a train wreck. I thought, my life, again, this is it, it's over. And I laid on the floor in a ball crying for 2 hours. And I sound like I'm this big crier all the time, and I'm not. I was hitting an emotional bottom. I was sober, but I was so miserable I didn't know what to do. And I laid in this ball, and I ended up calling my sponsor, and he said, "Hey, I want to come over and bring you something." I said, "Okay." So he comes up, and we talk for a while, and he goes, "All right, I need to go grab something out of my car. I'll be right back." So he goes down, grabs something out of his car, and he comes back, and he said, "I give this to my sponsees when they're ready, and you're ready." I said, "I'm ready." He goes, "Yes." I go, "Okay, what is it?" And he hands me a book written by M. Scott Peck called The Road Less Traveled.
Absolutely.
And that book changed my life. It changed everything. It woke me up. It gave me a different perspective on love, on codependency, on being a better human, on everything. It changed everything for me. And then I started reading Dr. Wayne Dyer's books, and I started reading all these spiritual development and self-help books. And man, incrementally, one day at a time, my life just started getting better, man. And it didn't get perfect. It got better. And the dumb decisions, I still make them every day, but I make less of them, and they're less dumb. If that makes any sense.
It does. Ken, I just want to say something and comment something that you mentioned. We look at the world and we see it in such a big thing, and it can be overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And then you made a statement there that's so important, to make those changes, the increments. I use the phraseology: you eat the elephant one bite at a time. You make changes 1 degree at a time.
Yeah.
And you look back 6 months later, and things have changed exponentially.
Yeah.
But we get overwhelmed with the big problem. I can't see myself out of it, versus somebody come in or give you an idea. Let's take a look at the first bite.
Yeah.
What are we going to slice off? And then the next thing, that wasn't too bad. Now this picture starts changing, and we get, I think that's where people fall back, that this thing they're in is so big and overwhelming, and they fall back. Versus taking one little success and build on that. It could be the littlest thing is, I get up at 6:30. It's something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Can change one's life. I can solve a bigger problem one bite at a time. So I just wanted to share that, give some insight.
Well, part of that for me, Tom, was I remember. I don't know how long. It may have been my second or third, fourth meeting at an AA meeting, and I saw this dude get a 60-day sobriety chip, and I was like, you haven't had a drop of alcohol in 60 days? Are you kidding me? What do you do for fun, dude? Like, that's crazy. What? 60 days? And then at that same meeting, I saw somebody get up and get a 12-year chip. coin. And I was like, 12 years? You must be the most boring person on planet Earth. Like, you haven't had a drop of alcohol in 12 years? Are you freaking Mr. Boring? Like, what? Mr. Rogers? What do you do for fun? You know, and so that was where I was, you know. I was like, what in the world? How do you do that for 12 years? And then I started meeting people with 40 years sober, and I was like mind blown, right? So one thing that I have learned is this: life is not an event. It's a process. It's not an event. It is, if you take it one day at a time and you focus on incrementalism and you say, look, I'm going to yesterday I didn't make my bed. Today I'll make my bed. Does that mean I was a bad person yesterday? No. It means I didn't make my bed. That doesn't define who I am. But yet if I go tomorrow and I don't make my bed, am I all of a sudden a loser? No. It just means I have room for improvement. Like I'm getting on Clubhouse now, and I'm seeing I do a lot of live streams. I watch as many as I can live streams here and there. I jump in and out, and I see these people who have no, I don't want to say none, but they have a limited amount of real life experience, meaning having life kick you in the face over and over and over and over, whether it's self-imposed or not. And they get on these stages and they get up and they pontificate about shit that they don't know anything about. I'll give you an example. When I was, I don't know, 19 or 20, I was told, you need to go see a counselor if you want to keep working at Honda. You need to go see a counselor and get an intervention and blah, blah, blah. So I go see this woman, and I look at her and I'm like, so are you, there's Glenn Bill. What's up? The great Glenn Bill. What's going on, brother? Good to see you.
Hey, can I make a comment to Glenn?
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, thanks for coming on. You are one of my heroes. You're, personal development coach. I love your book. I use it. You did it in my G-Force for the last 8 weeks using your ABCs of attitude. Glenn, you are awesome. Thank you. I hope to have a conversation with you in the future.
Dude, you need to get Glenn, you need to connect with Tom. Tom's one of my buddies. You guys, you need to get Glenn on your show, man. He's a badass.
Yeah, Glenn, I appreciate you much. Just wanted to let you know that you're a great influence in me, but your writings and what I use in my coaching is a tremendous help to influence people in their lives with your book. I appreciate you much.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So, Glenn's a good guy, and he lives right down the street. Well, he lives in Indy, right over, not far from me. But anyway, I forget what I was saying.
We got lost in the moment of excitement.
Yeah.
That's fun. You talk about people that, you say you don't drink, you don't do this. How do you have fun? Fun is generated within the mind.
It is 1,000%.
It's generated in the mind. I
1,000%.
At a much higher high than I've ever done in my life by my thinking and my attitude. Yep. And the euphoric feelings I get is self-generated through thought, positive thought. So
yeah,
that's fun in life, I believe, when you can do that. So
well, I think once you learn how to, live in the moment, once you learn how to 19 years old. Thank you, Glenn. I was with this counselor, and she, had me take her test. I took the test. I thought I had tricked it, and I hadn't tricked it. But so she's like, you're a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. And she was a rather large woman, and I was a dick. And I said, I'm the ticking time bomb. have you been in front of a mirror lately? And I was a total jackass with her. And I said, have you ever even drank? And she's like, I mean, I drink socially, but I, this isn't about me. And I go, but have you ever been an alcoholic? And she's like, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a drug and alcohol therapist. I said, then you're not qualified. You're not qualified to tell me how to fix my shit. If your shit hasn't been broken and you fix it yourself, you're not qualified. So I'm not listening to you. And I literally walked out of there and I went back to work and I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm not an alcoholic. But anyway, so, and I probably owe that woman an amends because I was really a jerk. But, I think, when you learn how to live life, plan your plans. I believe in that. Grant Cardone has been a humongous influence on my life. I mean, a huge influence. And writing your goals out twice a day, and which I do, and writing gratitude lists and writing targets for the day. Like, what's your target? Most people, you say, hey, what's your target for today? What do you, if it's about money, how much do you want to make today? What's your target? I'm like, as much as I can. And I'm like, that's not a target. That's a wish. That's a want. That's what Zig Ziglar calls a wandering generality. Like, you've got to have a specific target. What is the target? And you've got to have a system in place to hit those targets. And what are you doing to hit those targets? What's your system? And how are you going to duplicate that system, replicate it tomorrow, and continue doing that? And so, I think that most people are wandering through life, allowing life to happen to them instead of being at cause over their daily lives. We get to choose. And people don't realize that every single day when you wake up, it's your choice. You get to choose to be at cause over your life.
Exactly. I mean, all the decisions we make are accumulative where we're at, and we can look back and see what the attitudes, beliefs that we had, and what's the beautiful thing, Kat? This is what I believe is so powerful, and then I think you have the same internal thing. Is this moment's the best that you have, so make it work. Yeah. Because what we do right at this second, it dictates what's going to happen next. And so it's either going to be positive or negative, and it's compounding that. It just take little steps. And people ask me all the time, how are you doing? I say, this is the best day of my life. It is. This moment, I have no guarantees I'll be here in 5 minutes. So I'm going to make this the very best experience, not only for myself, but more importantly for those that I'm associated with, is leaving people in a better place. And when we get to that point, and that's what you do, Ken, I just want to let you know, you help people realize, see, Maslow, people want to feel significant, care. Do you hear me? Do you see me? And do you care? And you do that. Yeah. And you leave people in a better space. So
thank you. I appreciate that. That's my goal. Again, I'll go back to AA meetings and people I met, but I met this guy, and I actually wrote about this in my first book, Tom. I met a guy, I'm just going to call him Gary because that was his name. I'm not going to disclose his last name, but I'll tell you that he was the president of a medical association over the entire state of Ohio, and very wealthy guy, and probably the most eccentric person I've ever known in my life. And when you would walk up to Gary, whether you're at a meeting or you're in a professional setting, and you say, hey, how you doing? And you stick your hand out, he would shake your hand, look you in the eye, and he would say, I'm having the best day of my life. And not only that, I get to be here with you, and I can't think of anything better than that. And this guy was considered, this whole story is in my book. This guy, people would make fun of him. They would say, that guy's going to snap. He's going to lose his shit. Like, what's wrong with that guy? He's too happy. And, because miserable people want other people to be miserable.
Yeah.
And Glenn's talked about that. Like, people want you to be, people want you to do well, just as long as you're not doing better than they are. If you're not doing better than they are, then they love you, man. But as soon as you start doing better than they are, and I've seen it, man, people do not want you to be better than they're doing. They want you to stay down. It's the crabs in the bucket thing. Stay
exactly.
down.
That's the scenario story I say.
Yeah.
You don't have to put a lid on. They'll keep pulling you back down.
They'll keep pulling you down. You don't even need a lid. So, I think that when you realize how unbelievably critically important it is to check your network, and Grant and Elena Cardone are two people that they live and die by it, man. Like, if you are a bad apple, you will not get into their circle. If you're a freaking nut job, you may get into their circle, but you will not stay there for long, because they will see it, and they will cut you out. I remember I had some employees that had gone, they were creating problems, and Grant Cardone called me one day. I'll never forget it, because I knew he was driving down the road in his Rolls Royce, and he called me and he says, one of my senior people had just finally resigned, and several employees went with this person, and Grant, I think I texted Grant or something. Oh my God, shit's hitting the fan, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do. Like, all these people left, and he calls me. He goes, "Hey man, congrats on the VP quit." I go, "What?" He goes, "Congrats. You got rid of that problem. Now you can grow." Like, these people are holding you down, bro. You gotta grow. Like, you can't grow if you're surrounded with a bunch of idiots. Like, you can't. They will keep you down. And so, that's become unbelievably important to me. I will not allow people to stay in my circle that are, because they'll do it, and they'll do it in a very secretive fashion. They'll be doing it behind the scenes, and you don't even realize it until it's too late. So that is what will destroy any empire that you're trying to build. And that's so crucially important, to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. I surround myself with people like Glenn and Jeffrey Gitomer and Grant Cardone, and people that I know are good people that are out for my best interest. They may tell me things that that was painful to hear, but I need to hear those things. I need those extra sets of eyes objectively looking at my problems or my life or my actions, and saying, okay, hey, you need to change this, or you need to do that. And that objectivity, having that outside source saying, look, man, focus on this. Stop looking over there. Get that person out of your life. Don't even have them in your existence or your presence. Once you do that, man, life can become anything you want it to be. Anything.
That sort of leads me to a question, Ken, if you don't mind asking.
Sure.
So, in the world out there, and I just call the world, so many people, the biggest majority of people don't have what you're talking about. That coach, that mentor, people of like mind, people that are coming from the right space. And we people always ask the question, then they're frustrated. Why am I not growing? Well, you're not tilling the ground.
Right.
I believe when you look at successful people like yourself, Ken, the trials and tribulations, you look at anybody that is at a place, you go, how do they do it? You'll find that they all have two common things. Number one, they don't have goals per se. They have visions.
Right.
So they're clear of where they want to go and their why behind that. And we can talk about that. But the next thing they have is they have somebody like you in their lives, a coach or a mentor that's going to hold people accountable, that's going to be authentic. And I just encourage people, and then just you can make that comment on it, is if you want to change your life, you got to change your life. And that's mean bring other people in your life that will support you.
Yeah.
And so your thought on coaches. having them and seeking them out.
I mean, you got
publicizing myself here a little bit, but
yeah. I mean, you got to have coaches, man. You got to have people that are going to help you along the way. Unfortunately, especially with the advent of social media, there are, coaches are a dime a dozen. I see 25. I'm not saying I can't learn something from a 25-year-old, but I have underwear older than that. I'm kidding. That's an old saying. I actually do not have underwear older than that old. But I think that it's important that you get in with you get the right people in your life. If things are not going the way you want them to, then chances are there's somebody that can help you get there. And whether that's with Tom Ginn, or that's with Ken Walls, or that's with Grant Cardone, or Jeffrey Gitomer, or whoever it is, you need to say, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for out of my life. And I need to find somebody that can help me get there. And how do I get there? If I want to learn how to do TikTok, for example, my 10-year-old daughter has 10,000 followers on TikTok.
Whoa.
And, yeah. She knows a couple of things about it. I don't have that. I don't have that. I have a friend John Dawson on TikTok that has 650,000 followers on there. Another friend, Robbie Cornelius, has 110,000. And, so I know people. So if I go, well, I want to learn how to get to 600,000 followers on TikTok, I'm probably going to ask my daughter. She's taught me some things on TikTok, but I'm going to go to somebody that actually has done it, like John Dawson. Like, hey, dude, do you do any coaching on this? And he's going to say, no, I don't. Okay, well, let me ask Robbie Cornelius, or who can I ask about how to make TikTok a good thing? And it's probably not going to be an older person. It could be maybe somebody older has figured it out, but I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to find somebody that can help me achieve the goal that I want to, because the one thing I've learned is for many years, dude, I tried to figure it all out on my own. I tried to do it on my own, and it didn't work. It didn't work. So when I'm reaching out to other people and I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, can you help me? I mean, there's a chance that they can. There's a chance they can't, but that's, again, comes down to trusting yourself, trusting each day, and living it one day at a time, and trusting the process.
Like with your program, Grow Live Academy.
Yeah.
You bring a whole new awareness of what's going on in the whatever you have to offer, the gift you have to give. You can call that your business, but I think you're giving gifts out there. What is your gift? What can you contribute to improve somebody's life? Whether it be a vitamin, or whether it be selling cars or homes, or it doesn't make any difference. Right. The objective is to serve and help people improve their lives.
Right.
Your Grow Live Academy is, I've been around the block, Ken. I'm going to turn 71 in April.
Are you really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're 70?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, man. I did not know that. Holy crap. You don't look 70, man.
Age is a number. I'm blessed. I do have, I'm blessed with that. God has given our lineage some good longevity genes and young genes, I guess, But part of how I feel, and my age has nothing to do with my age. It's right here. Yeah. I know when I think old, I look old. Yeah. I mean, seriously, you look at people, they're talking old, and guess what? They look old. The moment they change their thinking, I'm young, I'm happy, I'm vibrant, they change and they look younger. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's true.
So your Grow Live Academy, I want to put a plug in for you, because number one, if it wasn't Grow Live Academy and through Mark Gassert, I'd tell a shout out to Mark.
Mark's
thanks much, and your influence on that. Hey, it's, me being a personal development coach, it put me through a challenge. And, being in front of this crazy little camera, what
Yeah.
are people going to think? And am I, whatever, the craziness that goes through our brain is changing how I'm operating.
Yeah.
And I just want to compliment you on that. And the group of people that are in the group, not only the people that have influenced you and supporting you, coming in to help support us. I mean, tell you what, these are givers.
Yeah.
I highly recommend, it's not my book, but I highly promote anybody that's in business, get this book, Go Giver.
Bob Berg is a good friend of mine, and
you know him?
I know him well. I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Matter of fact, maybe I'll have Bob come and speak to the group. I love Bob. He's one of my favorite people.
Well, thank you. That's great. Story behind that book. I'm in a networking group in New Jersey. I've talked to a number of the people in this networking group about what I do. And she headed this up. The next thing I know, I got this in the mail here recently. She hears my story, my message, and she says, this is an appropriate book for you. So I got excited, of course. I get excited pretty easy. So
that book though it's life altering.
Yes,
and it's a quick 2-hour read. I mean, it's a great book, man. Great book.
Yeah. So Ken, I just want to let you know, those that want to know, it's not just about streaming and the processes to take advantage of the new wave of conducting in the marketplace. I think it's the community that brings the value that you bring. Yourself, first of all, Glenn Morshower, and the people you've had. There's a litany of people that
Craig Duswald
had that influence.
Were you there with Craig Duswald from Guns N' Roses?
No, that I had a commitment that was in conflict.
Phenomenal. He's such a good dude.
Yeah. So I just wanted, anybody that's listening to this, first of all, those that are on here, share it out, and to tag your friends. But those maybe seeing it the first time, check out Grow Live Academy. If you're in business, if you want to grow, it's more than just a business. Check it out. And,
Thank you.
There's some information there. Ken, you want to talk a little bit about that and talk about your academy? If you don't
Grow Live, growliveacademy.com is the website address. You can learn about, there's a lot of information there. If it's something you want to get in, it's $997 one time. And then if you use the code 300 off, 300 off altogether, no space, that'll give you $300 off. It's a one-time fee, and that includes the weekly coaching calls where I have me on there quite often. Tom's a part of it, and you're a great part of it. Charles and Robert and Doug and just about everybody watching right now, I think, is a part of the Grow Live Academy. But
the tribe is here. The tribe is here.
Yeah, but it's I created this to help. To help people expand their brands and their business, man. And at first it was going to be all about going live. And now I've expanded it into other social media, other video stuff. And I'm adding more. I plan on adding more. I have a list of things that I want to create, and put in there. I'm not upcharging anybody that's already in there. You're grandfathered in. Excuse me. There will come a time when I take this to a monthly membership, and it won't be cheap. Right now it's $697 one time, and you get 120 training videos plus all the coaching every week and everything else. Dude, Jeffrey Gitomer said, dude, that you're way underpriced. I mean, I've had people who are members in the group that have said it. Lynn said it last night,
and I just make a comment on that. These are givers. We know Glenn Morshower and what he brings to the table and his wisdom and that. I've spent a lot of money in personal development.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I've got 100 times, 1,000 times more return on the investment for your program. I would, I won't tell you what I would spend, Ken. I'll let you.
I'm going to send you a bill. How much?
$1.75. Okay.
Yeah, right, right.
But
Yeah,
seriously, most people look at the dollar sign versus how can I grow with it?
yeah,
Because coaching, mentoring with the right people, I haven't found anybody yet that makes that investment. There's two investments you got to make: a commitment of time
yep,
and money.
yep,
And you will get the dollars I've spent in coaching and mentoring. I'll put it this way, tens of thousands of dollars. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So have I, man.
I have gotten a tenfold that return.
Yeah,
And
yep,
it's more than just a dollar amount, but you can't
yep.
put a dollar on growth. You can't quantify it.
You
So
know that one of my favorite sayings is if you look at, let's just say, sports figures, um, professionals always have coaches, amateurs do not. Tiger Woods still has a coach. Jack Nicklaus, if he can't figure out something, now he's getting probably too old, but I'm sure he still has a coach that he calls on. If you look at Michael Jordan, has a coach, Tim Grover. Tim Grover's actually been in my car. I gave him a ride to his hotel one night. I mean, these people are, and these are extreme coaches. These are people that take people who are already at the top of their game, like Michael Jordan, and take them to a whole different level. And so look, man, if you want to do better in life, you got to find somebody that can help you do better in life. And if you don't, and that's why when I created Grow Live Academy, like I've said many times, it was originally going to be a 6-week course with 6 videos per week, and that's it. So 36 videos. But I just kept, as I was going along, I kept having new idea. Oh, well, people won't maybe know how to do this, so I'll teach them this and I'll show them that. And before I knew it, I was over 100 videos, and I'm like, wow, man. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make this the biggest training platform in the world to learn how to live stream better, build your audience, expand your brand, and make more money. I want it to be a badass program that everybody on the planet goes, I got to be a part of this. And make it affordable. It's not, look, if $697 is a problem for you, and I'm not saying, I don't mean, please don't take this the wrong way, but if that's a problem for you, you definitely need to be in it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ken. Many people use money as the reason not to, when I have more money, I will,
Yeah.
do it now.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah. I've been broke. I've had car repossessed.
Yep.
I lived in my office while I was evicted out of my apartment years ago.
Yeah.
I had to sleep someplace. It was either my office, my business, or
Right.
in a cockroach infested place. And so I made an easy decision to move to my office and sleep on the floor for months.
Right.
People, but anyway, Ken, gosh, I'm so excited to have just our tribe coming on today.
It's incredible.
That's heartwarming and encouraging, that the support that this group, Grow Live Academy, is. And I guarantee you, hey, be part of it. Be part of something special, not just a way to build your business or, be part of something special, bigger than yourself. People that can help you grow and love you and all those great things. And Ken, I'm just so grateful to know you in this short period of time.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
You have made a big difference in my life with this program. Just the challenge to get live with you is a big deal. So
thank you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I don't know where we're going and how much we want to stay here, but I do honor your time and your commitment today.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Yes, I'll say this. This is my final thought. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have or how much money you don't have. there's probably something greater for you than what you're doing right now. And it's my mission in life to help people reach deep down inside and find what that is. So we're all, if everybody was walking around on this planet living in their purpose and not worried about like, how do I get more money out of this person, or how do I get, but they're like, how do I deliver value and love to the world and actually make an impact in a positive way? Man, this would be a much better world for all of us to live in, So there's something better for you. There's something better for everybody watching this. There's more.
Absolutely. And what I would encourage just on this closing note is that be still and know, go to that place. The powers will give you awareness, but you got to be still and you will know. And I always go to this thing in my coaching. I believe coaching, if it doesn't have a spiritual context, it's just temporary and doesn't work. Okay.
Right.
I always go to this and is, what did Christ mean when he says you can do greater things than I?
Yeah.
He gave the gateway to infinite supply.
He was joking.
Yeah. I like that joke, but, I think I just want to pose that question out there. What are your limiting beliefs?
Yeah.
And guess what? We have infinite supply of everything we need if we just put ourselves in a place of awareness, be associated with people to help you grow. And Ken, you're one of those people. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing? Because you just
sure can, yeah.
I've meditated every single day of my life for over 17 years. It's the first thing I do every day for at least 30 minutes. And I can tell you this, that you just brought up the Jesus reference. And I'll tell you that, Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of its righteousness, and all of these things shall be given unto you. And he also said, so he's referencing the seek the kingdom of God, right? But he also said the kingdom of God is within you. So what a lot of people don't do is they don't stop and go inside and, right there under the xiphoid process, when people go, hey, trust your gut. That's God talking to you, man. And when you can go inside and you can learn how to connect with that, the spirit that created everything, because it's a part of every one of us. So learn how to seek that, learn how to go inside and quiet your mind and just ask the question and ask God to guide you and surrender to the power. And once you do that, man, again, life can be anything you want it to be, man. Anything. So that's it. That's all I got. Thank you. I want to say thank you to you for having me on, Tom. I really genuinely appreciate it.
My honor. Okay. I'm just going to put you in the back room here.
Yeah.
Enjoy the M&Ms, okay, in the green room.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you all for being.
Well, that's Ken Walls. Again, it was an honor to have him on today. We could have gone on and on and on. I believe you see the influence he has and that. So I also want to thank everybody that in our tribe, Grow Light Academy, being here today, making your comments, much appreciated. And with that all said, G is for gratitude. Incorporate it in your thought. Be grateful for all things, because it negates negativity, gives you new perspective, gives you hope. And it's a powerful word, along with other words you can hear: love, joy, and peace. With that all said, have a great day. God bless. Catch you next week on G-Force.